Hi, my name is Rachel Recuto,
And my name is Cassidy Page.
and today we will be presenting on the species of the green sea turtle. So the common name of this species is the green sea turtle and is scientifically known as Colonia mitis.
So this is the taxonomic classification of the green sea turtle. The most important things to note are that it is in the kingdom of Animalia, the subphylum of Vertebrata, which means that they have a vertebrae, and the class of Reptilia.
As for their description, they are the second largest type of sea turtle species, only second to the leatherback. They are 300 to 350 pounds and they live 60 to 70 years on average, and they are 3 to 4 feet in length.
So the green sea turtle's diet actually changes throughout their lifespan. As juveniles, they typically start off as omnivores. So they eat insects, crustaceans such as crab and lobsters, and plants like seagrass. However, as they become full-grown adults, they switch to being herbivores and eat solely plants such as seagrass and algae.
As for their species range, these sea turtles nest in over 80 countries and they are found on the coastlines of over 140. Luckily, the United States of America is one of those countries. They generally are found near shore and seagrass beds as adults, hence, as Cassidy said, their diet shifts to eating seagrass and algae.
So female sea turtles typically lay about 100 eggs per clutch, and unlike other marine species, they are actually able to nest several times per season. And to actually lay their eggs, they do come onto the shore where they can dig holes in the sand, lay their eggs, and bury them safely away from other predators.
Once they have hatched, the babies make their way offshore, which is why their beginning life diet is small animals like lobster and crab and insects. And then once they reach a certain age and a certain size, they migrate towards these seabeds and they shift in diet to be herbivores, eating seagrass and algae. And then they really only go onto the shore to lay their eggs, and occasionally they will go onto the shore to bask in the sun. So I thought this was really cool. This is a real hatching experience when I went to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Unfortunately, these aren't green sea turtles. They are loggerhead sea turtles, but I still thought it was really cool. If you notice, they are under red lights because, as Cassidy and I will talk about in a later slide, light pollution is a major problem with green sea turtles and other sea turtle species. So we were only allowed to use these red lights to avoid leading them to dangerous places like the street with cars. And we were able to help scoop them into the ocean, and they walked over our feet, and it was really cool. And they had a ton of wildlife professionals out there and a bunch of barriers with metal and wood sticks and like pink tape so you knew not to walk over the egg's clutch.
So green sea turtles actually give a lot of ecosystem services. To begin, they are able to increase the productivity and nutrient content of seagrass blades by eating these things. They actually break them down a lot faster than they could do naturally on their own. They also provide a source of food for fish and shrimp by housing small species on their shells that they can eat. Along with the productivity of the seagrass blades, they also increase the rate of the disintegration of shells by eating crabs and lobsters and other crustaceans, which breaks their shells down a lot faster as well. They also improve the quality of nesting beaches through the nutrients of their eggs. And they can be a food source themselves for larger species such as sharks. And finally, they offer shelter and security for small species that actually live on their shells, and these are known as epibionts.
In the wild, species can have different types of relationships with other species, and the type of relationship that the green sea turtle has is with a fish known as the yellow tang, and they have a mutualistic relationship. A mutualistic relationship means that both of the parties benefit equally. As for the yellow tang, they eat the algae off of the turtle's shell, providing them a source of food. And they also travel with the sea turtle while they're eating this algae, so it provides them some security and some shelter. The green sea turtle benefits because it makes it easier for them to swim, and they can swim faster once the algae is removed from their shell. They can glide through the water easier, and it also improves the turtle's overall health as the algae is being removed.
So unfortunately, these green sea turtles are classified as endangered by the IUCN. To be classified as this, that means that they would have had to have a reduction of at least 50% of their population over a period of 10 years or over 3 generations, whichever is longer. And unfortunately, the green sea turtle has had almost a reduction of 90% of their population.
So there are a lot of threats that cause the green sea turtle to be under this endangered classification, and a lot of these we discussed in our class. The most common reason for green sea turtles to be endangered is degradation and loss of nesting habitats. This is a lot due to urbanization. As we move onto the beaches, they lose their homes and lose their nesting sites, so it's harder for them to lay eggs and reproduce. The direct killing and harvest of eggs for these sea turtles is also a major problem. Poachers often come and collect their eggs and kill them directly, but under the Endangered Species Act, they are not allowed to do this, which is a reason why it's limited. So when I went to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, I saw this firsthand. In the waters where they reside, they have low wake signs, and it means that the boats need to go really slow to avoid this problem. But vessel strikes are a huge problem because it can crack their shell, it can remove limbs, and it can cause huge gashes in their body, which can ultimately lead to their death. Accidentally being captured as bycatch in fishing gear is also another major problem because these fishermen don't really care what they're catching as long as they get what they're supposed to get. They don't really care that they're harming sea turtles or other animals in the process. Similarly to this, eating the fishing gear or any litter that is in the ocean can also kill them, as they can be choked or poisoned by this litter. And lastly, light pollution is another major problem that causes green sea turtles to be endangered because it leads them astray from their natural path and can lead them into dangerous places like the middle of the street with racing cars that can hit them and ultimately kill them.
Fortunately, there are many things that we can do as individuals to help kind of reduce these effects on green sea turtles. So the first thing you can do is to join offshore or coastal cleanups. So this is a way to reduce the amount of trash that actually gets into the ocean. And you can also limit your own plastic use, so like using less things such as plastic straws and plastic bags. Another thing you can do is turn off, shield, or redirect lights. As Rachel said, unnatural lights at night are really bad for green sea turtles, and it can really shift them from where they need to go. So it is important to turn these things off or even just use red lights. Another thing that helps is the Endangered Species Act. It is actually illegal to catch any type of sea turtle, and they recommend that you stay 50 feet away from them at all times. It is also important to never leave any fishing gear or netting in the ocean. As Rachel said, it can kill and entangle and injure the sea turtles overall. So it is important to take these things out of the ocean when possible. Do not disturb any nesting turtles' nests or hatchlings, just to avoid any potential harm that could come from it. And finally, you can remove recreational objects from the beach at night and just fill in any holes that are left over from those to avoid creating any unnecessary obstacles for the turtles when they're trying to travel.
So if you ever do come across a sea turtle, any sea turtle, that is hurt or you think that it's in danger, feel free to call the Gumbo Limbo Nature Center Sea Turtle Rehabilitation Facility. It's open 24 hours and they have a rescue line. There's other organizations that have rescue lines such as this, but I actually went to this one. This picture was actually taken from the Gumbo Limbo Rehabilitation Center. His name was Bud, and he's really cute, and they take really good care of them. They have tons of tanks and enclosures for them to get better in, and they heal over time, and they get them acclimated to living back in the wild. And then before they release them, they tag them so that when they do release them, they can track their progress and they can see how they're doing and where they're going, so that they know that they're healthy and living and they did the right thing by bringing them in.
Any questions?
Yes.
Can you go back to the scientific name? You won't buy that slide
Yeah.
a little bit too fast.
There you go.
Thank you.
Any questions?
How long was it?
It was perfect. 9:15.
9:15.
Oh,
Yes.
right.
Where's Gumbo Limbo in Florida?
It's, I would say 20 minutes from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
24.
It's pretty close to, Miami as well.
So Crush and Squirt and Finding Nemo. Are they green sea turtles?
Yes. But they actually lied because they said that he was over 100 years old, which he is not, because on average they live 60 to 70 years.
Write that down. No. All right, last chance for a question. No. Okay. Thank you.